I don't think I've ever taken anything personally in my life the way that Oakland took that game personally tonight against Riverdale as the final score of our 104.5 The Zone high school game of the week. 56-0. 49 of those points were scored in the first half. Welcome in. I am Joe Hunk. Friday Night Finals is underway. You've got an hour of Friday Night Finals tonight as you drive around Middle Tennessee, actually the entire state of Tennessee, because we do have Middle Tennessee teams that are playing over in East Tennessee. In fact, some of those games have already wrapped up in East Tennessee. So throughout the night, we're going to start with giving you some scores here in just a little bit. Then we'll start going into the individual brackets, let you know how some teams are going when it comes to the semifinal action. It's going to be happening next week, as well as some state championship games that are going on and will be going on next week as well in Chattanooga. Zone TV is live, as well as those are going to be getting your updates and scores that way as well. Before, though, we actually talk about the game that took place here on 104.5 The Zone. Steven hops in on Zone TV to let us know that West beat Powell tonight, 31-5. Some of the games that we did not get to during the half. York is heading to the state championship, or I should say heading to the semifinals, as they beat Hampton tonight 56-13. Greenville won tonight 28-17 here just a little while ago. You also had Bradley Central winning 35-14 over Bearden tonight. Olive Springs beat Cofield 20-13 in some 1A state quarterfinal action as well. You had Walker Valley winning tonight 24-20. Some 5A football for you. Giles County got a 35-14 win in that one. Now, a lot of these games are still live, trying to go through some of the finals that we do have so far here in the state of Tennessee. Upperman beat Macon County tonight 17-14. Here locally as well, Page beat Centennial 14-7. In fact, we'll have CJ Ecke here in just a little bit with his scores, or that update from that quarterfinal matchup that just wrapped up a little while ago as well. Now, a lot of these games are still going on, and in fact, we're one of the quickest games to actually end here in the Central Time Zone inside of the state of Tennessee. In fact, normally on a Friday night, we're going to be joined by Sammy Kincaid. We'll be joined by Tate Matthews. Obviously, I just mentioned CJ Ecke. You also sometimes will have some other people that are going to be hopping on throughout the evening. But with the speed of the game and the fact that we're only going to be going for another 57 minutes from right now, we may not be able to get some of those people on, mainly because the MyTV 30 Friday Night Rivals game is just now going to the fourth quarter. So that game may not even wrap up by the time that we're here and we're finished wrapping up here on Friday Night Finals. Some other games that are going on right now in the fourth quarter. East Robertson has a 42-12 lead on Smith County. South Pittsburgh and Gordonsville, that game is in a running clock right now because South Pitt is up 48-7 as we speak. East Nashville has a massive lead on Liberty Creek, 41-14. And McKenzie is currently up by 7 on Moore County, 28-21. Pearl Cone was down at the half, but right now in the third quarter, they are up 28-21. We had the battle of the Boro tonight. We had the battle of the Wood as well. And at the moment, Brentwood has a 13-point lead on Ravenwood, 27-14 in the fourth quarter. Now, when we come back here in just a few moments, we'll give you the updates about what happened in the game that we just finished here on 104.5 The Zone. And CJ Ecke, one of the few games throughout Middle Tennessee that has wrapped up. Page and Centennial, as just a little while ago, Page picked up a 14-7 win on that one to advance. We'll have the recap of that for you right here on 104.5 The Zone and Friday Night Finals. Continuing Friday night finals here on 104.5 The Zone. That's right. It's only 9:18, and you're hearing my voice, which means we had a game that had a running clock because it was a blowout, 56-0, the final score tonight here in Battle of the Boro Part 2. Which was not as close as Battle of the Boro Part 1, as Oakland wins that one. Throughout the evening, towards the very end, we'll get you some bracket updates as well as some games that are finishing up, like the fact that we have Macaulay advancing to the state championship, which is going to be happening on November 30th, which is a Thursday over at Finley Stadium in Chattanooga. They're going to be taking on Baylor, who just defeated Knoxville Catholic 49-35. But some games that we've been going through here in just a little bit. We're also going to let you know, if you're just now getting in the car, about the amazing night that DeJuan Morris had for Oakland, for them to pick up that 56-0 victory. But one of the closer games of the evening here in Middle Tennessee happened between Page and Centennial tonight. Page picking up that 14-7 dub in the 5A state quarterfinals. Our man CJ Eki was at that one, and he joins us right now. Eki, man, how did this one go? Because look, let me ask you, because at the half we were getting updates that it was 0-0, and I had no clue if that was the actual score or if we just hadn't got an update yet on what had been going on.
So when I got there, because I was coming straight from Mount Juliet to Franklin, which was a bit of a hike. When I got to Page High School, it was it had just become 7-0. Page. It was 7-0 Page when I arrived, and in the second quarter, Dominic Reed scores a touchdown from 4 yards out, a physical run to make it 7-7, and that was the score at the break. Now, to give you an overview of this matchup tonight, if you were looking for fireworks, the only fireworks you saw were from the Page fan base in the stadium shooting off the fireworks after every time that Page scored, which was twice eventually. But again, it was 7-7 at the half, and taking it into the third quarter, there were only 4 drives, 2 possessions apiece for Centennial and Page. And Page had the ball for the majority of the third quarter, and they didn't really score. They couldn't get any points out of it. So it was a fast-moving third quarter. And then the fourth quarter rolls around, and Page has the ball, and they continue to drive. And the big score, and eventually the go-ahead score, was a Jonathan Palmer touchdown pass to a completely covered Eric Hazard, the junior tight end. And he goes up and wrestles the ball away from the defender. An 18-yard touchdown that would turn out to be the go-ahead score. Page's defense stiffens in the final minutes, and they walk away with a 14-7 win in the quarterfinals in 5A. Big win for the Patriots.
Yeah, and now they're going to be taking on the winner of Henry County and Southwind. And, in fact, that game actually just wrapped up a little while ago. And Southwind picking up that dub 28-21. Now, the winner of the Page Centennial was going to be the home game, is going to be the home team. So that game's going to be happening next Friday night, Black Friday. And so Henry County is now going to be traveling to Page.
So Henry County rolls on.
Correction. Henry County's heading to the house. Southwind is heading to Page. Sorry about that.
Okay.
Southwind.
All right.
Yeah.
Southwind. So that is and I heard some things from the head coach, Jamal Stewart. He was talking to his team after the game, obviously getting them ready for what's going to be a very interesting week, with Thanksgiving being next week. But he talks about they like to throw it around, so he wants his team to be prepared. He knows that they're going to be off school for the latter half of next week, but they still need to be locked in going forward, because this Southwind team presents a completely different challenge than what Centennial brings, and it's going to be fascinating to see what happens in these semifinals in 5A.
No, it absolutely is. And I know you were talking about how good that defense was. CJ, you had Page gave up 14 to Franklin County in the first round. They only gave up 7 to Tullahoma, and obviously just gave up 7 to Centennial. What was Coach talking about with that afterwards, about how good his defense has been playing the past few weeks?
He loves the fact that they were able, and he gave credit to Centennial. He told his team that Centennial is a good team, but he was proud of the way his defense played in situations as the game progressed, and it was very important that they continue to stay strong, stay together, and communicate. And that's what he felt that they did going into this game. So I feel like he was impressed, but he impressed upon them that the job is not done, that they have 2 more to go. So he already had an eye on next week in his post-game speech to his team.
Well, Eki, man, we appreciate it. We appreciate everything that you have done all season long for us, because for people that don't know, he is every single week. CJ's out there with us on 3HL when we are either at the scoreboard at Opry or if we're at the scoreboard at Cedar Creek. And CJ is always there for that, and then he books it from there and goes and covers a high school football game for us every single week. And so, bro, we really appreciate everything that you have done for us this football season. It's kind of weird to say that the football season's over, where in the NFL we're still in like week 11.
Okay, we're done. All right, look, there's something beautiful about Friday nights wherever you go. There's nothing like watching people living, having a time of their lives, competing at the highest level, and just playing ball with their friends. And that's the thing that you'll remember the most about Friday nights. And I am glad you still have a role in what Friday nights can do for every community that we come across. So it is a privilege and an honor to do what I do, what we have continued to do all season long. And you know what they say, that when you do something that you love, it really doesn't feel like work. So thank you for allowing me to not work.
I mean, I love making it where you don't have to work. I think that is an absolute amazing thing for you. So I just appreciate you you calling in and talking to us about the job you don't do, since you're not working.
Hey,
look, you're the one that said look, I just took your words and then just said the exact same thing in a different way.
I'm glad you did. I'm standing on business, man.
That's okay.
Hey.
Look, just being honest with you. So, CJ, we appreciate it, bro. Go have a fantastic rest of your week, and we will see you next week. I know that we will be hanging out at B-Dubs coming up next Tuesday when we're going to be in Spring Hill. So we'll see you then, bro.
Wings and things and all sorts of things. Love it, man. I'll see you next week.
All right, have a good one. That is CJ Eki. As Page officially advances, they're going to be hosting Southwind coming up here next week in the semifinals for the 5A state tournament. Now, again, remember, a lot of these games still going on because of how quickly this one wrapped up here with the Battle of the Boro for this one. Now, remember, we have had a lot of people that have been calling in throughout Friday Night Finals, but because of how our schedule is going to be tonight and the fact that there's still almost 10 minutes remaining in CPA and FRA, CPA at the moment still has a 30-16 lead in that one. Now, we're live right now on Zone TV, and we're getting questions about certain games and certain scores. You can always call in with your score, 615-737-1045. But you can also get on Zone TV, the F&M Bank chat, and the question that we got just a second ago is from Flash, and he said, what was the Oakland Riverdale score, which that was our high school game of the week, the Battle of the Boro Part 2, that happened right here on 104.5 The Zone. So instead of just giving him the score, we still need to go through what all happened in this one, because this one was an interesting one from the very first play of the game that happened here on 104.5 The Zone. Game kicks off at 7 o'clock, touchback, and it seemed like it was 7:01. Very first play from the line of scrimmage. Riverdale has the ball after receiving the kickoff, and they don't have it for long.
Three-step drop, steps up in the pocket. He's thrown down, and the football came out. Oakland on play number 1. Carlos Swader falls on it. And just like that, the Patriots will get it in Riverdale territory at the 20-yard line, 1st and 10.
Look, I'm not going to pile on to everything that happened to Riverdale tonight, but the phrase Riverdale fumbled and Oakland turned it into the touchdown is going to be heard a few times throughout this breakdown of what happened in the game in Battle of the Boro Part 2, because after Riverdale fumbled, Oakland got the football. 3 plays later, DeJuan Morris went to work.
Under center, I formation, handoff, Morris stepping around defenders and wading into the end zone. Exactly 60 seconds into this 6A quarterfinal, the Oakland Patriots strike first on a DeJuan Morris touchdown.
Once he gets that one, he gets that touchdown to go up 7-0 in this one. Riverdale gets the football back, doesn't really do anything with it, punts it back to Oakland, and then once again, Oakland hands off to DeJuan Morris, and he does this.
So back under center goes Creasy. I formation, handoff. Morris tunnels his way forward and dives in. Touchdown, Oakland. And it's been easy so far for the Patriots, just like the first meeting. 6:41 in the first quarter. DeJuan Morris is back into the end zone for the second time already tonight.
And if you missed the very first Battle of the Boro because you were at whatever high school game you were paying attention to and you went to that week, Battle of the Boro started off with Oakland up 17-0 at halftime. Riverdale came back in the second half, tied up, then went instead of going for the tie, actually went for the win. And this one, that's how Riverdale defeated Oakland in the first one to become region champs. So it's 14-0 now, and a lot of Riverdale people are still sitting here going, hey, it's okay. We came back from 17 down. We're 14 down. It's still the first quarter. We've got this. But Oakland gets the football again after a Riverdale fumble. And instead of DeJuan Morris, this time it's Ashton Jones.
Handoff goes to Jones, running up the middle, bowls over a defender, and wrestles his way into the end zone. Oakland takes advantage of a second Riverdale fumble and puts 6 more up on the scoreboard. 1:14 first quarter. It's 20-0 Patriots.
Extra point would be good. 21-0 in this one, and it had been 14 points scored off of Riverdale fumbles. Oakland once again getting the football, this time in the second quarter, already up 21-0. DeJuan Morris already has 2 touchdowns, but they're standing on the 37-yard line, and he wants a third.
Man in motion, Bandy. I formation, handoff. Morris up the middle, out of stutter step, and now breaks free. 25-20, 15, 10, 5, untouched for 6. 37 yards for DeJuan Morris, who has a first half hat trick of touchdown runs. 8:29 second quarter. It's Oakland up big, 27-0.
It would become 28-0 in that after the extra point, and still in the second quarter. And DeJuan Morris getting the football again because Riverdale fumbled yet again. This time 34 yards away from the end zone, and DeJuan Morris once again gets the ball.
Wildcat set for Oakland as DeJuan Morris will take the direct snap. Fakes the give, shimmies up to the 30, breaks through at the 25, to the 20, and DeJuan Morris is in the end zone again. 4 first half rushing touchdowns for the Mr. Football semifinalist. It is 34-0 Oakland.
And I'm not saying that he's kind of really helped his campaign for the Mr. Football Award, but there's going to be a few more highlights that you're going to hear from him here in just a few moments. But this time around, Riverdale gets the football again. Instead, keeping the football, going to punt it back to Oakland. Punt doesn't go very far because Oakland gets to the punter before the ball even gets up in the air.
Lewis takes the snap. It's blocked. Blocked and picked up at the 10-yard line. Oakland will get it right there. Corey Smith blocked it. They brought 10, and he's the one that got there first. A meeting at the punter. First down and goal, Oakland.
Play happened so quickly. DeJuan Morris, who already has 4 touchdowns in the football games, hanging out on the sidelines this time. 10-yard line, first and goal. Very next play, Ashton Jones gets the football.
At quarterback, taking the snap, handing it off. Ashton Jones tunneling his way through the tacklers and into the end zone. Touchdown. Oakland's got 40, and Ashton Jones has his second rushing touchdown of the night.
Second one of the night for him. DeJuan Morris is sitting at 4. We are still in the second quarter. The reason for it? Because Oakland is still calling timeouts. That happened during the second quarter of this ball game. They're up 42-0. Riverdale trying to get to the half. Oakland still calling and using their timeouts, up by 42. They get the football back, and once again, DeJuan Morris gets the football.
DeJuan Morris, shotgun set in the Wildcat. He'll skip into the end zone untouched for a touchdown. 5 first-half touchdowns for DeJuan Morris, who has now found the end zone on the ground 24 times in 2023.
And then that finally goes to half, 49-0. After the 20-minute halftime, we were in a running clock, and that is the way that it would be the entire time. And instead of DeJuan Morris getting any more opportunities to score touchdowns, instead of Ashton Jones getting another opportunity to potentially get his number 3, Oakland starts putting the backups in, and yes, Avery Hainsworth, you know the last name, you know his dad, he gets the football. It is 49-0, and Hainsworth wants to put this one on the board for himself.
You can put it on the board, yes!
Takes the snap, hands it off, Avery Hainsworth, and he will shoulder a man down as he waltzes into the end zone. Oakland is over half a century tonight as Hainsworth gets it in from 4 yards, and the Patriots add on to their lead.
56-0 is the final score. Oakland defeats Riverdale in this one. They are advancing in the state playoffs as they continue to move on for yet another state championship that they are trying to win. Now, as we were talking just a few seconds ago, somebody asked in the F&M Bank chat about who Oakland is going to be playing next. They are going to be taking on Bradley Central. Oakland got the victory tonight, but because of the way that the bracket is going to be worked out, Bradley Central is going to be the team that is going to be the home team coming up on Friday night as they won and beat Bearden 35-14. Oakland obviously getting the 56-0 victory, so they will be on the road in the semifinals. We're still looking for Brentwood and Ravenwood to wrap up. Houston and Germantown wrapped up, I believe, just a few seconds ago as we were just talking with their matchup, because that is going to be who the winner of the Battle of the Wood is going to be playing coming up here in just a few days, 7 days to be precise, and that is going to be Houston. And they won tonight 30-10 over Germantown. So our semifinals not 100% set just yet in 6A. But Houston is moving on. You have Oakland moving on, and you have Bradley Central. The only game that we're waiting for right now is Ravenwood and Brentwood to wrap up. That game still has about 7 minutes to go in the fourth quarter right now as that one is continuing to go along. We've been obviously on 104.5 The Zone and Friday Night Finals. We've had Ravenwood calling in every single week with that as well. So we're kind of just waiting on that one to wrap up. But Brentwood at the moment has a 27-14 lead in that one. Zone TV is live. We're getting some people that are commenting on there because when they continue to hear some of the scores that we're talking about, especially the Oakland and Riverdale score, they're surprised that it was 56-0, which is also the reason that we're already on the air. And a lot of the games are still going on right now, and they're going to most likely be going on up until probably the very moment that we wrap this one up. In fact, CPA and FRA, which is the Friday Night Rivals game, that is where Tate Matthews is. That is where Sammy Kincaid is. That still has 5 minutes to go in that one. And so we may be able to get those on, but before the end of the evening. But while we're here, let's go ahead and get some more scores throughout the state from right now. And in fact, let's just start with what we were talking about a little while ago. We've already kind of mentioned what's happened with 5A or 6A. So let's look at what happened with 5A. West defeated Powell tonight 31-5. Walker Valley beat Clinton tonight 24-20. Page, we just talked to CJ Ecke a few moments ago, won 14-7. They're going to be taking on Southwind next week as Southwind won tonight over Henry County 28-21. Looking at some 4A matchups, there's only one game that is still live right now because Greenville defeated Anderson County tonight 28-17. Upperman beat Macon County 17-14 tonight. And then you also have Haywood up right now. And matter of fact, that game just wrapped up as I was about to read the score. They are winning and they won 42-20. The only 4A game that is still going on at the moment is Pearl Cone, as they are currently up by 13, as they are currently up 34-21 over Marshall County. We actually just got a phone call a few seconds ago. The Battle of the Wood is over with. Didn't mean to make that pun, but hey, that kind of worked. As Brentwood is going to be advancing as well. Looking at some 3A games right now. Those are all over with. Alcoa defeated Gatlinburg-Pittman 31-7 in that one. Giles County is moving on when they won tonight 35-14. East Nashville picked up a massive 41-14 victory tonight. You had Dyersburg getting a 1-point win over Covington tonight, 25-24. Private football-wise as well, with the state semifinals for AAA, as Baylor defeated Knoxville Catholic 49-35, and you have McCauley winning 33-15 over MBA. Looking at some 2A action across the state, there's only one game that is still going on as we speak, and that one still only has about 3 minutes to go. But York Institute defeated Hampton tonight 56-13. East Robertson defeated Smith County tonight 40-20. You had Decatur County Riverside defeating Huntington tonight 24-7. And you also have Boyd Buchanan beating Davidson Academy 36-24. Here's my favorite, Class 1A, where there's like 15 players on the team and they're all playing both ways. Oliver Springs defeated Coalfield tonight 20-13. South Pitt beat Gordonsville 48-7. McKenzie and Moore County is the only game in that classification that is still live, as they are currently winning 28-7, they being McKenzie. You also have Friendship Christian beating Nashville Christian tonight 56-14 in single A football, and Columbia Academy takes the L after Middle Tennessee Christian beats them 35-27. Those are some of the scores that we have had throughout the area as well. Now, the other classifications that we had, we talked about 6A in the very beginning of the night, and we also, like private school wise, we were talking about those as some of these games were wrapping up as we were speaking. But CPA and FRA is really the only private school game that is still going on, and at the moment CPA has a 37-16 lead on FRA, and CPA currently has the football, and they are killing the clock in that one. So those are some of the scores that we have. Again, only 30 football games that we had around this entire state of Tennessee tonight, and with the Battle of the Boro ending quickly, we've got a little bit more time with you tonight here on 104.5 The Zone's Friday Night Finals. In that one, if you are around town tonight, you just wrapped up a game, if you can't hop on the F&M Bank chat and get us your score that way, you can also shoot us a tweet or whatever you want to call it now on X at 104.5 The Zone, or at myself at Joe Hunk, or you can just give us a call, 615-737-1045. Jackson is back there right now taking all your phone calls and getting your scores as you drive around Middle Tennessee tonight, getting ready for the Vols and Dogs tomorrow, which you'll be able to hear right here on 104.5 The Zone. Other games that we are also going to be paying attention to is there's only, matter of fact, looking at our scoreboard that we have right now, there's only 2 games that are currently live right now for the high school football, at least the quarterfinal / semifinal action. But one game that we talked about and we just recapped here just a few seconds ago was East Robertson, as they defeated Smith County 49-20 to advance. And right now we're actually joined by their head coach, Coach Brooks, joins us right now. And Coach, big win on the road for you guys tonight.
Yes, sir. Appreciate it. We challenged our guys to come out and play tough. We played them early in the year, and we lost 14-7. Just made a ton of mistakes, had a ton of penalties, turnovers. And so we challenged our guys to come out and try to play a perfect game. And we just jumped out on them 35-0, and we just kind of kept our foot on the gas and, ended 49-20. So super proud of our guys and their effort tonight.
Well, Coach, and it was interesting for us on 104.5 The Zone. Our high school game of the week was the rematch of the Battle of the Wood, and or not Battle of the Wood, the Battle of the Boro. And Oakland lost the first game to Riverdale, and in turn, they came back and just played. They took it personally, and they just absolutely beat Riverdale 56-0. You mentioned that you guys had lost to Smith County earlier in the year, 14-7, and I was curious about this from your standpoint because we talk about revenge and getting a second opportunity to play a team that you lost to. Like, what was going through the week for you guys with that?
It's great when you play a team the second time because you've got film against them, so you can correct the mistakes and you can make adjustments based upon that film. And so we just showed our guys the film over and over and over again, kind of how that game turned out and, how we played and how poorly we played. So we just challenged them, hey, we can't do this again. If we want to make it to the next round, we got to correct all these things. And so they took it to heart. They continue to get better and better. So we had a great week of practice and kind of showed tonight.
So how's it feel to be on that bus about to be coming home or coming home right now, and the fact that you're able to look at the guys behind you and know that they did exactly what you were wanting, went back and got that little revenge?
It's unbelievable. It's the first time in school history we've made it to the semifinals. The fans are excited. The players are excited. We're on to York, come next Friday, and, everybody's excited to get there.
Well, no, and you were talking about the fact that you were getting ready for a game. You played it this week, but at the same time, this is your second road game. You guys are going on the road again next week against York on this. I know that it's the semifinals and things like that, but what's it mean about going on the road for a third straight week in a playoff atmosphere the way that they are, and making sure that your players are ready to now start to handle a school that's having to get to host a semifinal matchup?
We got some great leaders on our football team, juniors and seniors, that do a good job of making sure we're focused throughout the week and make sure that, they're really taking in, the things we're implementing during practice, and they carry that over to Friday night. So we rely on our players, to kind of, keep everybody in check and keep everybody going. They've just done a phenomenal job the last 2 weeks, and, going to do another one this week. I know, we're going to get prepared to play York and get on the road.
Well, look, I would be totally just a horrible person if I didn't ask you to do this, because you're sitting here talking about how good your team has played. You scored 49 points in the ball game just a little while ago, and obviously we're not getting like the updates of who's doing what in these football games as these games are going live. We're just getting the scores themselves. So you get 49 points, but I know like your guys are sitting behind you right now, and they see that you're talking, and they're like, "Coach, come on, give me a shout out. Let me talk about what's going on. Like, I want to hear my name." So tell me, because they're all paying attention to you right now, like, Tell me your star players of the game, just so that I can hear them yell in the bus.
Our Hogs on the front line and on the defensive line played just lights out. Offensive line, defensive line did an amazing job. Our star tailback, Isaiah Groves, had 3 or 4 touchdowns, maybe more. Unbelievable player. One of the defensive player of the game, Elijah Groves, had a pick 6, multiple tackles for loss. That kid was everywhere. Zach Groves making plays off the edge. Dallas Caffrey, our middle linebacker, just crazy. So, Casey Young, our quarterback, Cade, Brooks, our receiver, it was all over the field. We scored 49 points. There's a lot of people that contribute, and, they're all jacked up and, ready to go again. Well,
no, and it's great. I love the fact that you just talked about how great that they were playing, and you were mentioning some players, and there was one that I haven't got to talk to obviously throughout the season about, and it is Isaiah Groves in this one, because Coach, every single week we get these updates about how good somebody has played. And I've got updates from Isaiah about week 2 when he rushed for 230 and had 2 touchdowns. Week 4 when he rushed for 4 touchdowns and almost 250. I think it was week 8. He had 4 total touchdowns, and he had like 100-something yards receiving. He had 100-something yards rushing, and then he almost had 300 yards rushing, or total yards, against White House Heritage in week 10. Like, I need to know a little bit more about Isaiah Groves, man.
I think he rushed for 4 touchdowns tonight and probably over 200 yards, 250 yards. The kid's just amazing. He caught a pass, went 85 yards with it to the house. The kid's just, just a workhorse for us. Can do it all, running, catching. We put him in a Wildcat. He can throw it. He can do all kinds of things.
Well, and another one I wanted to ask you about was Casey Young, because I know that there's been times, again, going back to that White House Heritage one, He's a freshman. I know that he's been playing well for you guys. I know that he had 4 touchdown passes against them, but going with a freshman, now you're going deeper into this semifinals. Like, tell us about that, Coach.
Yeah, we talked to Kaysen all year. You can't play like a freshman. We need you to play like a sophomore, junior. And every game he's gotten better. So he's got another game under his belt. He continues to grow and grow and grow. So he's playing like a sophomore or junior right now. He made several great throws tonight. Just missed on a couple more deep balls that, could have, put the game even further away. But, we're just excited about his growth and how he continues to get better each and every game. He pulls it out. He runs. He throws. Only a freshman. He's going to be tough to deal with next 3 years.
All right, so did Dallas Caffrey get like 15 tackles tonight? Like, how did he do? Like, I'm asking because he had like 13 and he had like a forced fumble and an interception and all that last week. Like, what about tonight?
This kid just runs sideline, sideline. Just one kid. Every time you look up, you see his jersey number 32 getting off the pile, and he just makes plays all over the field. He's our senior leader, calls our defense, gets us lined up, and, just what a great kid, great player we have in Dallas.
Well, look, I appreciate you calling in. I appreciate you guys listening right now as you guys are heading back after picking up that victory, Coach. I know we're done with Friday night finals, so we won't get to do this again. Hopefully you've got 2 more road games in you, one of which heading to Chattanooga. So good luck, Coach, and thank you again for calling in tonight, Coach.
Yes, sir. Thank y'all so much.
All right, have a good one, sir. That is Coach Brooks, the head coach of East Robertson, picking up a dub tonight as they beat Smith County 49-20. And now they get ready to take on York, who beat Hampton. As a matter of fact, the York-Hampton matchup was the first one that was over with throughout the state of Tennessee tonight because York was up by so much. They went into a running clock, and they won 56-13. So that is going to be your semifinal matchup on Black Friday next week. The rest of the matchups inside of that classification 2A state tournament is Riverside defeating Huntington tonight 24-7. They are advancing. And Fairleigh won as well 30-0. And East Robertson again on the road last week, on the road this week, and potentially on the road for the next 2 weeks. We've got a little bit of time left on Friday night finals. We'll get to more of your scores and updates. Phone lines are open at 615-737-1045. This is 1045 The Zone. 15 minutes remaining in Friday Night Finals, the final Friday Night Finals on 104.5 The Zone, as our high school game of the week action is over with. After tonight, you have the state championship set in the private schools. You have the public schools going into the semifinals coming up here next week. So Black Friday is going to be busy for a lot of people. Obviously, we're going to be off next week on Thursday and Friday here on 104.5 The Zone. So this is going to be your final high school Friday night finals of the season, and then obviously we'll be back in 2024 for all of those. But you can watch on Zone TV as well. The F&M Bank chat is up and rolling. Zach was a huge fan of the interview that we just did with Coach Brooks, as East Robertson is going to be advancing on that one. CPA just advanced as well, as that game just wrapped up. With the conclusion of that one, I believe that means that all 30 games have officially wrapped throughout the state of Tennessee. So what we're going to be doing is we're going to start with 6A, and we're going to go through and we're going to let you know about some of these matchups, and we'll tell you the bracket as we go along. So Jackson, if you will, please hit the music. Please, thank you. Oakland curb stomp Riverdale 56-0. That was our final here on 104.5 The Zone's high school game of the week. Bradley Central defeats Bearden tonight 35-14. That means Oakland is going to be traveling to Bradley Central on Black Friday to take on them for an opportunity in the state championship. Brentwood just defeated Ravenwood. That one wrapped up just a few moments ago. 27-20, the final in that one. Brentwood winning both Battle of the Woods games this season. To Coach Tate, who just wrapped up, maybe getting in his car. Only reason I called it Battle of the Woods is because I was talking about both of them, not just a singular one. Because if you missed it when the first Battle of the Wood took place, Tate made sure to let everybody know that it's Battle of the Wood, not Battle of the Woods. Just letting you know. Look, I'm just letting you know. That's what Coach Tate said, and so that's what he's going to be, okay? I keep calling him Coach Tate for some reason. I don't know why. I'm combining him and his dad. I'm just saying Coach Tate for everything, because even earlier when I was talking to Jackson a few seconds ago, I called him Coach Tate. As Tate was trying to wrap up, as you know, obviously his son plays for CPA, and they just now made it to the state championship, so we're letting him enjoy his time with them. Houston won tonight 30-10, and Houston and Brentwood will be playing each other next week in 6A. As far as 5A is concerned, Powell and Knoxville West wrapped up earlier tonight, 31-5, the final in that one, with Knoxville West advancing. They're going to be taking on Walker Valley, who beat Clinton tonight 24-20. Page beat Centennial tonight 14-7. They are going to be hosting Southwind, who beat Henry County 28-21. 4A bracket, as those games just wrapped up a little while ago, with Greenville beating Anderson County tonight 28-17. Upperman advances after beating Macon County 17-14. Pearl Cone was down at the half, but came back and scored a lot in the second half, beating Marshall County 41-21. And they are going to be hosting Haywood next week, as Haywood beat Dyer County tonight 42-20. That's where your 4A bracket is looking right now. Now looking at your 3A, Alcoa won tonight 31-7. They're going to be taking on Giles County, with Giles County picking up the 35-14 win. And to wrap up 3A, the 3A bracket, East Nashville beat Liberty Creek 41-14, and they're going to be hosting Dyersburg, who got a close 1-point victory over Covington. When we come back, we're going to wrap up Friday Night Finals, the last one of the season, here on 104.5 The Zone. Final segment of the final Friday night finals on 104.5 The Zone in 2023. I'm trying to figure out how many times I can say the word final in our final segment of the year. So in doing so, let's go to all the games that are now final. As Jackson hits the music for the final time. Okay, that's just over the top. It really is just over the top.
That should be the final time you say final.
No, it's not going to be the final time because Alcoa, it's a final there as they beat Gatlinburg Pittman tonight, 31-7. Giles County is advancing after winning tonight, 35-14. East Nashville picked up a big win, 41-14 over Liberty Creek, and they're going to be hosting Dyersburg next week, who had a nice, slim, very uncomfortable 1-point win over Covington tonight. That's the way your 3A bracket is looking right now. Your 2A bracket, York and East Robertson. We actually just talked to Coach Brook just a little while ago. Coach, there's an S on the end of his name. It's actually Brooks. As York defeated Hampton 56-13, and Coach Brooks and East Robertson defeated Smith County tonight 49-20. Riverside beat Huntington 24-7, and they will be hosting Fairleigh, as Fairleigh picked up a 30-0 win this evening. 1A bracket is now set as well, as Oliver Springs advances after beating Coalfield tonight 20-13, and they will be hosting South Pitt, who so far in the state playoffs defeated Joe Burns 63-0. They beat Clay County 58-0, and tonight they beat Gordonsville 48-7. On the other side of that bracket, McKenzie advances after a 1-point win over Moore County, and I'm going to get choked up on that one as we are wrapping up the 1A. Now, the other brackets that we need to look at is obviously your 2A, I should say D2, single A matchups, which will be Middle Tennessee Christian after defeating Columbia Academy tonight 35-27, and Friendship Christian beat Nashville Christian 56-14. Those two teams meet in Chattanooga on Thursday, November 30th. That kickoff is going to be at 3 p.m., and that will be up for the state championship. When it comes to D2 AA action, Boyd Buchanan beat Davidson Academy tonight 36-24, and they will be facing CPA, who just wrapped up their MyTV 30 matchup with FRA, winning 37-16. And finally, your D2 AAA state championship is set. McCauley beat Montgomery Bell Academy tonight 33-15. They will be facing Baylor after Baylor went on to win and beat Knoxville Catholic 49-35. That game will be your nightcap on Thursday, November 30th, 7 p.m. kick from Finley Stadium in Chattanooga. Those are all of your scores throughout the state of Tennessee as we are wrapping up our very final Friday night finals, which means I get to be like Will Bowling and I get to say all the nice thank yous to everybody as well. Because first off, thank you to Jackson. As I'm looking at you right now, not because you did well, but mainly because you taught Reed everything that he needed to know this football season to make sure that Reed has done such an amazing job with high school football and producing the games and all of that. So I appreciate you, buddy. Thank you very much.
Anytime, pal.
Yeah, no problem at all. So thank you so much for that. So, and yes, thank you to Jackson as well for all of this. Thank you to obviously to Will Bowling and Lucas Panzica, B-Hop for being on, Ramon Foster for also doing all the analyst work as well. And of course, all of our analysts or all of our correspondents that we had around Middle Tennessee, from Sammy Kincaid to CJ Ecke, Tate Matthews, which is going to be live on the air tomorrow morning, as a matter of fact, and that is going to be at 8 a.m. Him and Coach Matthews, there's the real Coach Matthews, is going to be at 9. Don't forget that the Vol football game coverage will begin at 12:30 here on 104.5 the Zone. Jonathan Schaefer came on this season. Thank you to him as well. And thank you to all of you, whether you were on the F&M Bank chat, Zone TV, whether you were calling in with your scores as well. Have a fantastic week. Have a fantastic Thanksgiving as well. And we will see you next week here on 104.5 The Zone.